Alrighty. How are we? It says there's 4 people in here. Sorry we're so late. We're a lot later than we normally are. Also, I've been trying to get rid of this delay. I don't know if there is still a delay between me talking and then what you guys are seeing or hearing. I've been trying to get rid of that, but I don't quite know what's going on. I've changed to a different switcher. I've tried most things. I don't really know. You can let me know. I don't know if it's still doing it. I can check here on my phone, but there is. That's really annoying. I don't know what's doing that. If any of you are OBS wizards, maybe it's OBS is the problem. If any of you are sort of streaming wizards and you know how to get rid of delay, where it doesn't, there's like that delay in my voice. Part of it could be because I'm wondering if it's because I'm running my FX30 with a built-in LUT. And then that is going into my switcher into OBS rather than putting the LUT into OBS. I don't know if that would make a difference, but maybe something to try for next time. But anyway, how is everybody? It says there's 7 people here. So hello all 7 of you. I hope you're doing well. Or 11? Wait, what am I doing? I don't know how any of this works. So today we're planning on talking about just like camera gear that is, I don't know about overrated, but like you buy it and it's maybe good, but you just like, I never use this. And half of this is actually because I'm going to be working on a video for this in the future, and I kind of want to hear your guys' ideas, like what's on your list of stuff that is like gear that you have wasted time on or time and money on that you wish you didn't use. So that's what I'm thinking I'm going to do with these live streams, is like use them for like a little bit of, I don't know about research, but like at least planning videos, kind of help that you guys who are sort of actually in on the streams help me sort of figure out some stuff. Morning from an Irish guy living in Australia. Joseph, you're in a, oh I forgot, hang on, I can do this. Wait, does this work? Hey, it works. I'm probably not going to be able to get everything on the screen. Irish guy, what brought you to Australia? Loads of Irish people go to Australia. I ended up in Kentucky. How come you got to Australia? That doesn't seem fair. Very cool. Yeah, so I was thinking about using these live streams as basically a way of like, I don't know about proofreading, but going over a video idea that I have, but I don't have fully fleshed out, and then you guys can help me a little bit and sort of contribute for some stuff into the actual video. So, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. How are we all doing? So Joseph's here, so that's good. We have there's like 8 of you in here, and you're all silent. People are silent. It's very strange. It is a Friday evening. I normally try to do this at like 5 p.m, but I kept trying to figure out the switcher problem. I know it was not agreeing with me. So, but we'll see. I'll maybe try something else for next week. Brother came out here for work, and I followed. Oh, very good. Is that your profile picture? Is that the Irish rugby team? So I'm from Northern Ireland. And the thing I love about Northern Ireland and all of its division between Irish and Protestant, Irish and Catholic, good Lord, Irish and British, is that there's all this divide until the Irish rugby team start playing, and then everybody's Irish. We all like to claim that one, which I think is kind of funny. So yeah, I've got a list of a few things that I thought would be interesting to sort of bring up and talk about, of gear that I think is overrated that I haven't reused. It did a thumbs up on me again. Why did it do that? That was strange. Why did that happen? Anyway, I'm getting so distracted. I don't think I have ADHD, but for some reason when I try to do these live streams, I am all over the place and I just cannot pay attention to one thing. So, but anyway, let me grab a few of my little items here in a second of things that I think are good to or maybe a bit of a waste of money for a lot of people. We'll maybe just let a few more people hop in here. I know it's late, so we'll probably not be on here all that long, but we'll see how it goes. It's the Liverpool team. Oh, you're from Derry. Very good. I'm from Newcastle, so probably the farthest side of the country from Derry, but that is where I'm at. So very good. Alrighty. So yes, this first product, so my overhead camera isn't working either. This has just been a disaster of a day. So I'll grab this first product here. But so these are the kind of things that I'm thinking of talking about, right? This is like a good piece of gear that I never use, right? Good gear that I literally just never touch. The first one that I want to talk about, wow, that looks really underexposed. Oh well, is a slider. So I got sent this recently by Top Rig, and it is like a little motorized slider thingy, and it works, which is great. And I used it once whenever recording a video about it, which I didn't end up posting, and I literally have not touched it since. So I'm really intrigued to see, what do you guys think about sliders? Because like in theory, I think they're really cool and they're really fun. Especially these sort of motorized ones, and this is kind of like a nice affordable one. But I just never use it. Like you spend money on this. Also, this one, this one is really nice, but it came with nothing. No power cords, no batteries, no nothing. Like it was just completely bare bones, which thankfully I had some NPF batteries, but it just came with absolutely nothing. So for me, a list of pieces of gear that I think are kind of overrated and probably not worth investing in. Sliders is kind of at the top of my list, but we'll talk about probably more about that in a second. Giovanni, how's it going? I saw you on the chat with the Uncensored guys earlier, so you were out at Build with them, right? I really missed out. I wish I'd been able to go to Build. It looked great. I work at a church here in Kentucky, and we're in the middle of summer camp season, and it is just pure chaos. So I've not been able to escape, unfortunately, because I think I have 4 weeks of summer, or I originally had 4 weeks back to back of summer camps, and thankfully I managed to get out of one this week, so I was able to sort of relatively rest. I don't know if rest was the right word, but kind of take a little bit of a break. So just said he used a slider in uni for a project and liked it, but can say I've never used one since. So that's like the thing. Am I frozen? What just happened? Why am I frozen? What? Oh, I'm not frozen. My iPad froze. Hang on. This setup that I have going today, disastrous. So I'm trying to use an iPad Pro as my extended display, and it works really well until it disconnects, and then we're good. Okay, I'm not frozen. We're back. All over the place. Sorry, my brain. Yeah, so like whenever you need a slider, they're fantastic. But the amount of times that you actually need a slider is really slim. So again, this channel is largely focused on like beginners, right? People who are just getting started. So like for a lot of beginners, like you go out and you buy all of this gear and then you find out that you never use any of it, and you're like, what? This is like, I thought this was what I was supposed to get, right? Gimbals are kind of in that list as well. You know, there's a few things that I think are like essentials. So like tripods, everybody just needs a tripod. It just helps. Lenses, and that doesn't really count as camera gear because it's kind of like a necessity to some people. But anyway, like there's things that you need, and then there's stuff that you get recommended on YouTubers by idiot YouTubers like myself because we get excited about stuff, but beginners don't actually need them. And then they get them and they feel all depressed because they don't end up actually using it. I was there day one, helped them out with the stream. Oh, very cool. So I tried to watch it, and yes, it seemed like the internet completely fell apart, which was not super ideal for them. But yeah, it seemed like a good time. Did you actually enjoy the rest of the time there? Because like it seemed like a lot of people had fun. I don't know if you were at NAB as well, but if you were at NAB, let me know if you thought which one you preferred going to, because next year I'll need to figure out which ones I can go to. I'd like to go to all of them, but it is expensive, and I'm kind of like, I'm slap bang in the middle of the country, so trying to get to anywhere is like expensive. But my chat thing has disappeared. So yes, so sliders are kind of on that list for me. Dude, my tech stuff today is just falling apart. It is not going well. Let me do this. How do I reset this? I cannot reset. Oh, whoops. Oh no, I'm falling apart. All right, we may not have chat being able to pop up anymore because I'm not getting any of the new messages that I'm seeing in here. Giovanni said, church is good. All glory to God. Absolutely. 100%. It's, I mean, I don't know. I absolutely love it. I love working for a church here. Even when things change, it's like, you know, I think this is my third church that I've worked at in the last 12 years. But no matter where you go, it's always great. Yeah, no, I really enjoy it. And we're actually in the basement of the church right now. So we have this little media room that I've put together used to do a podcast back during the COVID days, and we did a lot more media stuff. And then COVID kind of ended, and I got stuck with this really cool room. So I was like, well, time to start making YouTube videos, I guess. So it's been pretty fun since. But yeah, there's a huge amount of gear in here that I do not use. I need to do some giveaways or do something, because it's a bit of a waste right now. So yes, I'm intrigued. So for you guys who are here, Joseph and Giovanni, if you're still here, it is very quiet this evening. We're low today, but that's okay. What else would be on your list? What would you say is like a piece of gear that you've got that's maybe like a waste of money? Oh, my chat is running back up again. Here we go. Sorry, the whole message isn't going to appear here, but he said, for sure, I was at Build early and got to check out all the booths. It was very packed, lots of people, and made it hard to check out all the equipment without having to wait. Okay. But Build is more for the creators and consumers. See, that was like the weird thing about NAB. Like, I loved going to NAB, and I got to meet so many cool people and chat with a lot of people. But a lot of the products that were being talked about were like in a realm that I'm not touching. You know, it was like broadcast, super high end stuff that was way beyond me. So, you know, there's a decent amount of stuff and that I was able to enjoy and talk about and look at, but a lot of the gear that people were talking about and looking at was just like, I don't know, crazy. You know, your big TV broadcast stuff, which again, it is the broadcast is in the name. But Build seemed kind of better. I didn't even know it existed. If I had known, I probably wouldn't have gone to NAB and I would have gone to Build instead. But yeah, it seems more focused for the creators, which that's majority of what I do now is YouTube stuff. Or church stuff, church video production-y stuff, but we don't really do all that much here. Smaller church, so we don't really need a whole lot. So that kind of works out pretty well. But yeah. So yes, this video that I'm working on, the gear that I think is kind of overrated or people don't need to be spending their money on, I'm going to keep trying to talk about this, and then because the chat is behind, it's probably going to pop up late, but that's okay. Sliders are on that list. Another one I thought would be really interesting is hazers. Now, unfortunately, one of the next videos that I have planned is I'm going to be mentioning a hazer. So like haze machines are like really cool, but also really expensive. Like these little handheld hazers. Actually, I have one here. One second. Like I've got one of these Smoke Ninjas. It's a little handheld haze machine, and it's cool. But whenever they released this, I ended up not making a video about it because it was like $200 and something. And I was like, that's so much money. And like the amount of time that you use haze, well, it really just depends on what it is that you're filming, I guess. Like if you're doing music videos, you know, a lot, then you might use haze a lot, but in YouTube, I don't. You know, like I never touch it. Like I've used haze a couple of times, but we've got a big hazer here. So I mean, like if I'm using haze, I'm not going to spend $200 on a handheld one when I've got a giant one that costs $300, I think. That's another one I think people just tend to waste their money on. So sliders and hazers, and I'd like to try and get 5 items. So if you guys have any recommendations for products that you think are a waste of money, specifically for beginners, not necessarily a waste for everybody, but a waste of money, do let me know. All right, let me hop back got a bunch of messages here. So David says, really appreciate your videos. Is YouTube your hobby? What is your main profession? Yeah, so it's funny. It's my hobby that has done well. So I did not expect the channel to actually grow at all. It was not part of the plan. So it started out very much as a hobby because I had all this camera gear and I wasn't using it anymore. So I was like, you know, I may as well just put it to use. I love watching YouTube videos, and I had my first video, I had the idea for it. And I was like, I think this could do well. So I went ahead and made it, and it did do well. It's got like over 100,000 views now. So I was like, I'll keep going. And now we've got almost 18,000 subs, which is kind of silly because I'm just a random Irish guy sitting in a basement in Kentucky talking about cameras. There's 18. The town that I live in is less than a third the size of that. So it's just bizarre. The internet's a weird place, how that works. Giovanni said, I think you'd enjoy Build, plus New York City is fun just by itself. I live an hour away over in New Jersey, so it was easy for me to go. If I had to travel like you, would I? You probably wouldn't go. That's fair. I mean, like, New York's only like, I think it's like an 8-hour drive. No, it's like a 10-hour drive from here, which isn't awful. If any other Irish people are in the chat, there was one who said earlier, Joseph, the idea of, well, you're in Australia now, but the idea of driving for 10 hours in Ireland is just completely ridiculous. But I've always wanted to go to New York, and I really want to get into more street photography, so it would have been a really good fit, but I didn't go. What do I think about the Sony FS7? The FS7, no, it's quite old, isn't it? FS is their Super 35 line, isn't it? Let me move this out of the way. Sony FS7, I've never used it, so take that into mind. Anything I say here is entirely speculatory. So yeah, Super 30. Oh my goodness, it's cheap. $704 on Adorama. So it's basically an old cinema style body. Super 35. I'm guessing 1080p only. Interesting. I'll take a look into. Oh, that is 4K. Very cool. Yeah, I know nothing about this camera. The price point is very interesting. $700 for like an old. That would make a good video. I might make a video about that if I can manage to get my hands on one. We will see. But Giovanni said, for me, the biggest waste of money are action cams. Oh, I agree so much. Action cams, unless you specifically need to put a camera in a risky situation environment, you can probably just use your phone. Yeah, like, here's the thing that bothers me about a lot of these, I'm going to say, no, not YouTubers, but these styles of YouTube videos. And I've been part of some, like I do them too, and I kind of feel bad about it. But like, there's a lot of products that we get sent. And I think action cameras are like this. Like the majority of the big camera YouTube channels that promote the action cameras, or like the 360 cameras, they never use them again. Which to me is just a bit of a sign. I mean, obviously it means if it's not for them, it's not for them. And maybe someone who's like doing skiing, like, you know, or extreme snowboarding or something could use it. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. There's so many things where it's like a launch day comes out and we get excited about products and you know, it's fun and I enjoy it. But then we buy them or we recommend them and then we never touch them again. So usually I kind of like to see 6 months down the line, is somebody still using that product that they recommended? Because if they aren't, then I don't know. It means they either have something better or they actually shouldn't have recommended it. I don't know. I don't have a name besides Tim. Hello, Tim. Hey Thomas, love your channel. Was wondering, should I get an FX30 or should I use my iPhone 16 Pro log and buy an anamorphic yellow lens? I don't know. I mean, I'm all about the FX30. I'm filming. This is the FX30 right now, and I think it looks pretty good. I think it's a pretty good shot. I do not enjoy filming on phones, and I'm just bad at it. I don't know why. I just can't use them. I gave myself a thumbs up again. Why does that keep happening? How do I turn that off? Does anybody know how to turn that off? I give myself another thumbs up. Anyway, I'm always about interchangeable lenses. I would definitely get an FX30. It depends on what lenses that you can get for it, obviously. And if you have no money for, if you've got no budget for a camera at the moment, well, you're gonna have to work your way up to that, and that's fine. But the FX30, I think, is probably the best budget camera that you can get. Under, was it like $1,700 right now? Which I think is awesome. Like, it's really, really cheap. Spider-Man. We got Spider-Man in chat. That's awesome. A6700 in 2025. Great camera. Where is it? Where did I put mine? Oh, I don't know where I put mine. Yeah, great camera. I would get it used. I would look on the used market. You can find them for $1,200. I mean, let's take a look here. So Sony a6700 used. 1300. Let me see on eBay. Yeah, if you could find one for like $1,200, I think it's definitely worth it. I would take it over the ZV-E10 Mark II any day of the week, honestly. Not that it's a bad camera, but I think the 6700 just offers so much more. Here's one. It's, well, yeah, 1300 seems to be the kind of normal one. Oh, there's one for $1,250 on eBay. So yeah, if you could find one and have a little bit of patience and look around for about $1,200, I definitely think it's a good camera. If you don't have any lenses and you're looking for the best camera for the lowest amount of money, honestly, I don't know if I would go Sony anymore. But if you have lots of Sony glass or you're interested in Sony lenses, then stay in the ecosystem. That's where I'm at. Like I've got enough invested in Sony that it's keeping me there. But I would look at a Nikon Z5 II or a Lumix S9 or a used S5 Mark II. Actually, a buddy of mine, Rhett Thompson, he's selling like a whole bunch of gear. He's selling an S5 Mark II for $1,000 with a cage, I think. I don't know if it's gone, but I mean, that's an absolute bargain. So I would check that out. Again, it just depends on your lenses and what you want to do. Joseph, I worked for an agricultural filming company back home in Ireland, and action cams were the best. I gave myself a thumbs up again. Stop doing that. Stop. Okay. I think, is it if I do this? It didn't do it. I don't know what's going on. Action cams were the best things for us and just what we needed for shots on tractors and machinery. Yeah, that's fair enough. So I guess different tools for different people. Yeah. Like I wouldn't strap an FX30 to a tractor, to be fair. So, then again, I mean, like there are some cameras, like an original ZV-E10 isn't probably cheaper than most action cameras. So yeah, interesting. I've never bought any. That's my thing, is like I probably can't speak to them all that much because I've never purchased any. So Sam O'Hara, how's it going? Hey Tom, hope your evening is going okay so far. Are you still using your S9? I am. It's right here. Actually, there's a video that is coming out. Well, it's gone to a sponsor at the moment, and all the B-roll was filmed on this. So yeah, I like it. It still does well. The only problem is I just don't have all that many lenses. I have 3. So I've got a 50mm, which is the only autofocus I have, is a 51.8. I've got a 35-1.4 manual, and then a little pancake 28mm f2.8, which is awesome. I love that little lens. It's a Brighton Star something. Yeah, it's fun. And I saw one sell recently for $920, which is bonkers for this. I just ordered a Mac Mini M4 because I want to use this more. And the 6K does choke up my M2 a little bit. It's just a base model M2. So I'm going to try the M4 and then keep the M2 here for the streaming and then plug the M4 in over there for the editing is kind of what I'm planning on doing. But yeah, I love it. I think it's great. The color's really nice, super cheap. I just need to get lenses. It's not that the lenses don't exist. I just don't have them. Tim, should I get an A6700 or an FX30 for church recaps and some personal stuff? Baptisms, camps and events. Budget-wise, if you can afford an FX30, I got a video coming out about this next week comparing those, the FX30, the ZV-E10 II, and the A6700. And I pick up the FX30 every time. If I have the choice, I'm picking up the FX30. Especially for churches, depending on what you're doing. Like if you're doing talking head shots, like if you're doing interviews or anything like that, having the XLR handle where you can, put your shotgun mic straight into the camera so you don't have to like record separately and all that kind of stuff is fantastic. And again, with churches, you never know, you might be filming for long periods of time. It's less likely to overheat. It's just designed for that. Like for our church, we got a small church here. Obviously small church is relative, but the church that I work at here, we have about 300 to 400 people per Sunday, and the FX30s are our main camera, and we use it for almost everything, and it's just been super reliable and really, really good. So I think the FX30 is the best bang for the buck personally. So that would be my take. But yeah, it kind of depends. Like, and again, church stuff, it always depends. Like, I came from a mega church in Lexington. We had about 5,000 members, and I'll say this. How will I say this? Oh, John Adams is here. You can maybe chime in on this, John. The amount of money that we were spending on tech at that church was embarrassing, is what I would say. I don't know if this is the place. You know what? This is the place. This is my channel. It's live. I can say what I want. We just ran a summer program here. We had 100 kids, 100 teenagers, and they were out doing service projects all over the community, helping disabled individuals, widows, orphans, all this kind of stuff, doing some really, really cool stuff, building access ramps for people who needed access to their homes, repairing people's houses, whole bunch of crazy stuff. Really cool stuff. And we saw loads of kids have some pretty serious life change. And that whole week cost us 1/3 of the LED wall that our last church installed. So it's just crazy. Like, I would say for churches, I mean, each church, you can do whatever you want to do. But creative arts directors, sometimes we get a little bit carried away and we get excited about budgets and we just spend because we can, and we love gear, so we do that. But I would say if you don't need a red and you can get away with an FX30, do that. Save the money and throw it into the community. Help other people. There's people in your community that probably need medical bills paid that would do more for your church than a nicer camera. That was a complete rant and nothing to do with your question, Tim. I'm so sorry. John, dang, you just saw you were live. Stoked for this, John. How are you doing? How's all your tech stuff going? You're a worship pastor at a church as well, aren't you? So yeah, we haven't chatted in a while. I'll need to shoot you a message on Instagram or something and try to do some lives together, something like that. 6700 is a good hybrid camera. I'd look more into the FX30 if you find yourself doing more long form video. Yeah, totally. Perfect. I just looked at your profile picture, Jason. That is fantastic yet disturbing. Do you ever get stressed about getting a video out when views for the month are down? Would you rather push something out or slow down to make a quality video? Not camera gear, but important. Yeah. Good question. So this month has been a good month on YouTube. Last month was a terrible month on YouTube. So it's funny how it does just ebb and flow. And I do actually think last month I was more excited about the videos that I made than I was this month. And I think I put more work in last month than I did this month. So I don't know about slowing down and making a quality video, and unless it's just, that's what you want to do. Like, if you enjoy it and you're happy about it, if you want to make content that you're proud of, then I definitely slow down if you feel like you're rushing. I feel like I rush, but I have no time on my hands. So yeah, last month was really slow, and then this month picked up. I did a video that came out at the first of this month. I basically ripped off Random Frank P, which I did give him credit for coming up with the idea of cool tech under 50. And I was like, we should do a camera edition, and we're going to do it monthly, and that one took off. So that did really well. So I don't know. It just depends. I don't understand the algorithm. I don't know how it works. I've tried all the tips and tricks, and it doesn't work. So, but the channel's growing. I think just consistency, and there will be these ebbs and flows. I think it depends on the market as well. You're largely in the tech space and Apple gear and stuff like that. So I guess it depends on how much demand there is for that kind of content. Same thing happens with cameras. When nothing interesting is happening in the camera world, it's you kind of have to get inventive or figure out something else or do something a bit different. But yeah, Mac Mini M4 will be one of the best decisions of life. Tim, that's good to hear because I hate spending money. So I was really I didn't want to have to buy one, but yeah, the M2 has just been struggling a bit more with the 6K for rendering. I didn't even look into seeing if there would be any difference between the M2 and the M4 for rendering. I just kind of went for it. So I needed two computers anyway. I wanted one here for streaming and one there for editing. That's my plan. So Remain, hi, how was your week? Took any memorable photos? I have not taken any photos this week. I was just saying I got finished with a week of camp that I was leading that went super well. But I got a lot of cool photos. We have another friend who's a photographer, and they got loads of cool photos of the event. And I posted those on my Instagram recently, and they just turned out really nice. You know what I'm loving? And she did this with her photos as well. Black and white photography. I am hooked on black and white photography. I think it's just awesome. Love it to bits. I am behind. I'm so sorry. I'm going to try and fly through these. Jason, question. If you could change one of these three lenses, which would you change and which would you get, or what would you get in exchange? Oh, interesting. Sigma 10 to 18, Sigma 18 to 50, and a Sigma 70 to 200. That's a good question. I'm assuming you're on APS-C with those lenses. It depends on what you do. I don't know. For me, I'd probably get rid of the 70 to 200, but that's because I don't ever film anything that zoomed in, and I would get a prime. I'd probably get like an 85mm prime. I love primes, not zooms, personally. So I would definitely get rid of one and get a really nice prime lens, like a 50-1.2 or an 85-1.2, something kind of silly or crazy, just to give yourself a little bit more options of kind of looks. But I guess it depends on which of the zooms that you use least. Interesting question, though. John, I'm glad you agree. Church is way overspend, then the gear just sits once the other tech leads move on. Yeah, for sure. We actually, at our church, talking about spending lots of money. We're buying a bunch of those Bose speakers, like the tower speakers, the big tall ones. What are they called? I can't remember what they're called. But they're like $2,000 new. And the church down the road has 14 of them and is just getting rid of a bunch. So we're picking up a couple of those because we do need them, because we have no speakers in our youth room right now. So, but anyway, I think it comes down to tech leads not wanting to lose their budget. Yeah, so that's an interesting one. Our church have been very clear that if we don't spend our budget, it's not changing for the next year, because you just never know. It ebbs and flows. So I'm really grateful for that. I bought a ZV-E10 for my photo booth, and it's been amazing. David, nice. I love hearing when people buy the ZV-E10, because it's like, it was the whole camera that got this channel going. It wasn't my first camera, but it was the one that I kind of focused on this channel. So it's just been fun. I think it's a really fun little camera, especially for the amount of money that you can get one for. I think a lot of people still overlook it. Because a lot of people are like, oh, I can't afford a camera, I'll just buy a new phone, and then they spend $1,000 on a phone, and I'm like, just get a camera. You can get a really good one for that amount of money. John, I was for a long time. Oh, you're lead pastor now. Very cool. How's that been going? How's that transition? That was one of the things I said whenever I took this job as a youth pastor, is I said I have absolutely zero intention of ever becoming a lead pastor. I don't feel the need to just make decisions that'll upset half of my congregation, which is typically what happens, I feel like. So, but that's just me. Need the final piece of to the puzzle of my ZV-10 Mark II rig. Ooh, the monitor. Save up a bit and get the Shinobi 2 because of the camera controls, etc. Or what else would you recommend? I know nothing about the Shinobi 2. I saw... I think Chris Brockhurst put out a video about it. Monitors are one of those interesting things. Like, once you get one, you don't need to upgrade, so it's kind of nice. And in that sense, you may as well get a good one, because you only really need one, so you may as well buy it once and not worry about it. So if the Shinobi 2 feels right to you, then great. Camera control, the only ones I've used is port keys. The LH5P Mark II and the LH7P, which is 5-inch and 7-inch respectively. I love those. I did find, however, I never used the camera control. So it's nice to have the camera control, but I never used it. So maybe that goes on our list. Maybe that goes on our list for the video that we're supposed to be talking about today that I keep not talking about. And my iPad did the thing again. 1 second while I fix my screens. There we go. So yeah, buy one that you want. Don't buy like an $80 one, because you're going to end up going back and replacing it in like a month. So, and then once you buy one, you don't need to upgrade. You're going to feel like you want to upgrade because a new one's going to come out. You don't need to. It's just a monitor. It doesn't do anything. unless you need wireless transmission. That's the only time that you're going to need to add to it. Giovanni, I started my channel this year, cranked out 5 videos in a few weeks. Wow. And I've just not had the time to make any more. I feel somehow guilty about my lack of productivity, even though I've just been busy. Giovanni, I didn't know that you had a channel. I'm going to have to go find it. Are you in the camera world as well? I'm guessing you are with the fact that you went to build, but let me find your channel here. I'll give you a wee subscribe. Maybe. Or is your channel not your username? I don't know. You tell me. Because it doesn't pop up here for me on whenever I search, but that could mean anything. Oh wait, no, there it is. There it is. I found it. 59 subscribers now. Oh, dude, you have a Nikon ZF. I love my Nikon ZF more than anything. It's actually up here. Let me grab it. It's supposed to be my overhead camera, but I didn't get it set up on time. This is my all-time favorite camera of 2025, and I want to make 25 more videos about this thing because I love it. It's such a fun little camera. If any of you are interested in ever getting a camera, this is the one to go for. My setup looks really dark today. I don't know. All right. John, the transition's been great. I went from a 1,000-member church to being the lead pastor of a 75-member church. That's awesome. So definitely a different speed, but it's a really great group of folks. That's cool. Is it a plant or is it just somewhere that you've kind of hopped into to help work with? Because that's awesome. Yeah, going from like a bigger church to a smaller church is a really interesting dynamic. Not a bad one at all. It's great. Marine Trucker. For the Sony a6700, I'm trying to find the right lens to do close-up B-roll for an office setup video. Close-up B-roll? That's something I never really pay attention to, is minimum focusing distance. I absolutely love the Sigma Contemporary series. So let me check what the Sigma 30mm is. Minimum focus distance. The 30mm is kind of the one that I go to for like all of my B-roll side of things. So it can get a foot away. It says 12 inches. So that wouldn't be a terrible option. That's not super close. Like if you're wanting macro level stuff, honestly, I'm not sure. Sorry, I'd love to help you out a bit more. I can do a little bit of research, and if you shoot me a message on Instagram, or if there are any that you think about and you want to shoot me a message on Instagram, just let me know, and I'll happily do a bit of research with you. But that's interesting. Office setup. I love office setup videos. Those are like some of the most satisfying videos on the internet, in my opinion. Jason McQuaid, yes, have an A6700, and I hate that these don't show up on the whole thing. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Yes, I have an A6700, and I'd want to just be able to do everything with those 3 lenses, from landscape to videos to just a point and shoot around a city. Thank you for the answer. Yeah. I guess, yeah. I don't know. I love primes. Once you go primes, you can't go back. That's my take. I'm sorry. But yeah, if you're wanting to do everything, I actually love doing landscapes with like a really telephoto lens, like your 70-200 for the telephoto for landscapes. I think is always kind of fun. It kind of forces you to take very different shots because everybody just uses wide. So going telephoto for a landscape is kind of fun, in my opinion. DJ, how's it going? I love your vids, man. I was looking for accessories for my ZV-10 for outdoor recording. Oh, and they helped. That's great. I'm really glad to hear that. I appreciate that. It's always good to hear when the videos are actually appreciated. You've been making content on the Nikon ZF, sharing images, recipes, and photo walks. Recipes. I haven't touched the recipes at all. Are the recipes good? Is it worth doing? Because here's my thing about cameras like this. I think one of the reasons that I love the ZF so much is the little switch that takes you to black and white mode just feels really cool. There's something about that like physical click that you get to know that you're switching into something different, that I really enjoy. Whereas like the Fujis, I've used a couple of Fujis, and it's all like in the menus. And same with like Sony's or Lumix and stuff, when you're trying to get into like picture profiles, all that kind of stuff, you got to go into the menus, and I hate doing that. The XM5, which I just picked up, it has a dial, but I haven't played at all with any of the Nikon recipes yet, so I'll need to check those out. It's your favorite camera from a long time Fuji. Okay, so you're a Fuji user. I switched over last year and love it. I'm curious, if Fuji made a full frame camera, would you have stayed? I always find that interesting. Or if the GFX mount also worked on the X mount, like if their medium format and their Micro Four Thirds used the same lens mount, which I understand is probably impossible or silly or probably not recommendable, would you have stayed? I don't know. You let me know. Previous pastor had a major scandal. That just happens all the time. So came into a bit of a mess, but the church has been around for 68 years, so it's not a plant. That's cool. Dude, props to you. Whenever churches go through stuff like that, like our church in Lexington closed because of the same thing. And like a mentor of mine at the time turned out to be, I'll not get into that, but it's just awful. And it affects, it just affects the whole church. So that's cool. It's always good to have somebody come in who's passionate and able to try and work through it. So be praying for you, because that's a tough spot to be in, but I'm sure it'll be great. You should let me know how it goes as well. Keep me posted, or if there's any prayer requests or anything, do shoot me a message on Instagram, because I know how tough that sort of position can be. What focal length do you think is best for POV content, considering 24mm f1.4? For POV, I think it depends what you're doing. Most people who do POV do like super wide, like 12 to 16mm, just to give that like kind of not fisheye but super wide angle. So most people would go wider than the 24. I would hate for you to buy a 24mm f1.4. That's an expensive lens. Was it like an $800? It's actually not that bad for a GM, but and then realize that it's not wide enough. So one thing that you could do, and this is always kind of fun to do, is just rent a zoom. So just, go onto lens rentals or one of those kind of websites, rent a generic zoom lens and find the focal length that you like, and then go buy a prime based off of that focal length. Especially if you're going to be dropping serious money, that's usually, I would rent something first. If it's like, I'm going to buy one and done type of thing. But it depends on your financial situation as well. If you're like, I can just throw money around, then go for it. I want to get the 24. I also want to get an FX2. I know that's crazy, but I want to get an FX2 with the 24 and replace my FX30. That's my plan. John, you got to go. Thanks for doing the live. If you want to chat, just shoot. Will do. It's good to hear from you. Have a good evening. Do you shoot any film? I don't shoot film. I don't have the patience for film. That would be my main thing. I don't have the patience for film. I would love to shoot film in a way. There's nowhere near me that does any film development. So I would need to send it off. I think if I pick this back up full time again at some point, I'd be very tempted. Especially if the YouTube stuff keeps taking off and keeps doing well, then I'll be tempted to. The recipes, this is for the Nikon ZF, are still a bit new and could use more refining, but you can make your own. I'll check out your videos on those, because I'll need to look into them. I think that'd be kind of fun. You left Fuji because the company seems to have changed a lot, and I'm not a fan of the direction that they're going in. Interesting. Forced scarcity, increased prices, and questionable design choices. Nikon plus red is the future. Fair enough. Yeah, so that's an interesting thing. So Fuji's cameras being continuously sold out every time that they release one. Do you think that that's intentional? Or is it just that people are buying all the cameras? Because it certainly gets me thinking. Like, my sister has the X100V and is obsessed with it. And she would love the X100VI, but obviously you can't get it anywhere. It's like really hard to find. So, but there is like this feeling of like, it's sold out. It must be a good camera. Maybe I should get it. And if they're using that intentionally, first off, that's really clever. But secondly, it's a little, well, depending on how I view it, I guess it's an interesting tactic. Roving Cyclops, I haven't seen you in forever. How's it going? You were like one of the OGs. You used to, yeah, from way back in the day. POV 14mm. Yeah, so again, most of the time, people do tend to shoot super wide. So I've never tried the 14mm. But I used to have a 14mm. It wasn't the G Master, and it was phenomenal for real estate. Like, I loved real estate on the 14, which now I use a 9mm on APS-C for real estate, which is 14-ish, 13.5, something like that. Is it just me, or is the Fujifilm hype on YouTube real? Got me thinking about the X100. Okay, so you're talking about this too, X106 or XT5. Yeah, I don't know. So I have the XM5. I've barely had any chance to give it a go yet. I have to say, it's a cool little camera. And also the fact that you're getting 6K open gate for $800 is wild. Super feature rich. I would say, and what's interesting is, like, I've always been anti kit lens, and everyone's like, well, but you haven't tried a Fuji kit lens. I don't like it. I don't like the kit lens. I think it's because I don't like the aperture. I don't like being stuck on it like a 5.6. Not that I don't use 5.6. I will use 5.6 quite a lot, but I hate being stuck there. So like f1.4s or f1.8s are kind of where I love to sit. Not because I'm always going to use that, but because I like to at least have the option to use it, especially if I'm in kind of low light. I don't really like zooms. It's kind of like shooting with the phone. Like, I just don't know what I'm doing. Like, I feel like I'm using a whole different machine when I'm taking photos with the zoom lens. Like, because I want to be moving with my feet, but I don't. It's kind of, it's a weird thing. And you can do black and white at home. Oh, for film. Black and white film, not hard to do. Just got to figure out scanning. Oh, you're gonna get me into a hobby that I don't have time for, Giovanni. All right, if you would recommend me a film camera under $800, what would it be? Film camera under 800. That's what I want to know. If I was to get into film, that would probably be my line. Because I'm, as much as I'd love a Leica, I don't got that Leica money. I'm a youth minister. I don't get paid. I do, but not Leica money. Maybe someday. I'll need to talk to Brandon Talbot. Brandon, you're probably not here, but if you are here, or if you ever watch the replay, we've chatted a little bit, but get me one of your Leicas. I want to try a Leica. Or I'll come out to Utah. You hook me up with a Leica. Ben. I have a G7 and a Micro Four Thirds lenses. Tempted to get a C200. Man, I love the C200. It's an old camera, and like, there are cameras nowadays that are probably going to be better for less money, but I love the C200. Like, if I'm buying a Canon camera, it's probably a C200 to C400, because that body style and that, it was just so good. I actually have, hang on. I actually still have this thing. Sorry, that was probably really loud. I have, this is a C100 Mark II. This thing is awesome. Like, I love this little camera. We still use this quite a lot for like talking head stuff. And the C200, I think it also being APS-C. The C200 with the Sigma 18 to 35 and the 51 to 100, just killer combo. Absolutely fantastic combo. I don't use that one enough. It only films in 1080p, and not that I think 1080p is kind of fine, especially once you upscale it. But yeah, the C200 is awesome. Again, I would say it's not the best camera in the world for that amount of money these days. I don't even know how much they go for. Used C200. $1,000? Well, $1,200? Oh, that's a 300. Yeah, $1,200. $1,200. Now you got me thinking. C200s are $1,200? Dang. Yeah, no, I loved it. I mean, like, and all of the OGs on YouTube, that was their camera, right? The C200, and the church I used to work at, that was everything that we used was all C200s, and they are really fun. Again, you can find cameras with better image quality, probably nowadays for less money, but still, it's a fun camera. That's what matters. Ruining Cyclops, and yes, nice to be around. Life is busy. Taking a 2,500 kilometer road trip tomorrow. Taking only the X100V. Very cool. That's fun. 2,500 kilometer. Where are you going from and to? That's a serious drive. Again, being from Ireland, I'm in America now, but like being from Ireland, the idea of a 2,800 or 2,500 kilometer trip, you're going to the south of Spain at that point. Like it's a long way. I can't imagine Fuji low supply is intentional. I'd imagine they want inventory to sell to make money. Maybe Fuji manufacturing is small, or they make small orders to their suppliers. Yeah, possibly. I don't know. I have absolutely no idea, David. But it's interesting that it doesn't seem to happen with anybody else. Really, like I haven't seen other camera companies just go completely sold out. Blackmagic maybe. Did the Pixis sell out? It might have done. Tyler, 28 days later, movie used an iPhone, but with expensive glass, cinema like. Oh, they use Petzl lenses on iPhones. Interesting. Yeah, I saw Mari Hapoya put out a video about using iPhones for that. Yeah, I just hate filming on my phone. It's not that people can't get good quality videos out of an iPhone. It's just a different tool that I'm not good with using. It's like a whole different user feeling. I don't know, that's not the right words. It's a different user experience. That's the word. And it's an experience that I'm not familiar with, so I don't know how to get quality out of it. So, but it's the same, like, hand me an original, like $500 ZV-E10 and I can make it sing, right? I know that camera inside and out, and I know how to make that camera work well for me. If you handed me a new Canon camera, I wouldn't know where to start. Never touched one. Haven't touched one in years. And it's probably the same with phones and action cams and stuff. I just don't know how to use them effectively. So I'm just going to stick with what I know for now, because I find that easier. But Ben, thanks for the encouragement. You're welcome. Yeah, have fun. Again, YouTubers will say that there's better cameras out there, and that's true, but get the camera that you want and that is fun. That's kind of my take. David, I agree. Fuji makes no money from 2-year-old pre-orders from X100 series cameras. They just read second production. Oh, that's kind of true. No, do they? No, they maybe don't. So when I ordered the XM5, it didn't charge. Like I didn't have to pay for it until it got shipped. So I don't know. I don't know how any of that works, so I'm not going to pretend like I know what I'm talking about. What software do you use for editing? I've always been Premiere Pro, but getting a new MacBook soon. I'm thinking of moving away. I use Premiere as well, Joseph. So not because it's the best. Like if you're into hard color grading, I would do honestly for anything. I'd go DaVinci. I'd go DaVinci Resolve. If you're looking at switching, I use Premiere Pro for the same reason as what I just said. I know it and I'm fast with it, and I haven't, like, my life is pretty chaotic, so I don't really have the time to sit down and learn a whole new program. If I did, I would learn DaVinci. But for now I'm just going to stick with Premiere because it's what I'm efficient with. So I would love to take like a month and just learn DaVinci, but I just don't have the time right now. I've got a full-time job at a church trying to run a YouTube channel, and my wife and I have a coffee shop, and we do a lot of other stuff as well. So it's life's a bit too chaotic. Also, David, go lay hands on XT50. It's perfect with a grip, balanced with the primes perfectly. Yeah, the XT50 I got to see it at NAB. Beautiful little camera, very very pretty little camera. But yeah, the XM5 is my first Fuji. I figured I'd give it a go. I have an offer for a C200 kit with Carl Zeiss 35 1.4 for 2,400. Okay. I don't know which is that the Distagon Zeiss? For Canon EF. Yeah, Distagon. Yeah, they're looking like they're about $600 a piece. So, and then yeah, I don't know what else comes in your kit, but it's pretty cool. Yeah, nice. You'll have to rent the X-T50. Renting is the way to go. I don't do it enough. I really should do it more. But yeah, if you can rent cameras before you buy them, especially the high, like if you're looking at buying a $4,000 camera, rent it first. Give it a go. Make sure that you like it for $100. It's definitely worth saving the money. Depends on how you like to shoot. What focal lengths and how much control you want to have. I'd probably look at a Nikon since there is a large library of f-mount glass. Yes. Well, so the ZF is based off of the f2, isn't it? If that's the case, then that makes sense. There was a Nikon film camera. It was, what was it? The something T. It was like the T for titanium. Nikon F. Was it F2T? Am I making that up? F something T. Maybe it was the F2T. Oh, that's expensive. I'll find an F2. Oh, you said it's based off the FM2. Fair enough. Yeah, okay. An F2 is not all that expensive. I could do an F2. Interesting. Wait, why was the F2T so much more? How come the F2T is $1,800 on eBay and the F2 is like $300? It's beautiful. That is a beautiful little camera. That's bad. Giovanni, you're going to be the death of me. You'll have my wife to answer to. I'm so happy I'm poor and started with DaVinci years ago. The free version was great and the studio version has paid. See, I have the studio version because I've bought Blackmagic cameras and I just don't use it. And I've been like a schmuck paying for DaVinci Resolve or Premiere Pro for like 10 years. I don't even want to do the math of how much money I've spent on the Adobe stuff. I mean, it makes me like I use it to make money, so it's not so bad, but still. Tyler, new to the channel. Do I use LUTs for color? So currently I have one in my FX30. And yes, it's what I use for almost everything that I do. Now, I have no idea how I got to this color grade because I'm not a professional colorist. And if I anything that I know about color grading, I got from Color Grading Central on YouTube. They're just fantastic. They're great. Everything I've learned is from them. And I put this teal and orange LUT together based off of their instructions. So all props to them. People keep asking me to like sell a LUT or something, but I go buy their LUTs. They have a teal and orange LUT, and you're better off buying that one because they do such a good job. And I'm not a professional. Joseph, thanks for the chat, man. I gotta go. Keep banging out good content. I will do. Enjoy Australia. You think it's based? Yeah. So you said that it's based off of the FM2. Yeah. That's how much is the FM2? And we'll look that one up as well. Oh, it's really cheap. $200. Now that I've seen that titanium one, I want the titanium one. It's so pretty. There's one for $1,100. Gosh. I don't know. Maybe someday. Not right now. Maybe someday. I don't have the time. Or the patience or the brain capacity to learn a new thing right now. But yeah. Very cool. That'd be interesting. Roachface. That's a interesting name. Thank you. Yeah, I think I should just rent a zoom and figure it out. I basically need a lens solely for vertical POV. Oh, vertical POV on a ZVE1, and I'm stuck between the 24 or a Zeiss 18. Is that the Batis? That's a lovely lens. The Batis lenses are really, really nice. Yeah, no, those are lovely. Yeah, no, just rent a cheap zoom. You don't even need to worry about the aperture on it. Just rent a cheap zoom to help you figure out your focal length. Or I think you could probably even do that on your phone. There's probably apps where you can like test it out on your phone to see what focal length that you like, and then go buy a lens based off of that. You can't go wrong. I mean, like there's lots of great lenses out there. I haven't really done vertical POV video before. So I would hate to give you a wrong recommendation. But that sounds cool. If you post it on YouTube, let me know. I always love those like street photography, vlog style, POV stuff. I want to do some someday. Giovanni, I want to get the FM3A next. Last film camera Nikon produced in like 2001 or something. Ooh, most recent camera FM3. Is that what you said? FM3A. FM3A. Oh, that's cool. That's a nice looking camera. That's a good price as well. See, that's kind of that range, that like $600. See, I find if I spend too little money on something, I'm not going to use it. So, I just don't shoot film enough to justify it. I'm planning on using film to document all my family photos, birthdays, etc. That's cool. And that does seem pretty fun. I think, like, if I was able to travel a bit more, and especially going out to New York and stuff, I'd love to just do a film day in New York. I think that'd be fun. Or get an old Leica. I don't know. Much love. Add old family albums. Yeah, that's a thing that's lost, isn't it? Old family albums. Now we have like 15,000 photos on our phone and we can never find the one that we want. Yeah, old photo albums. We shouldn't lose those. Sorry, there's kids running around screaming outside the store, so I apologize if you can hear that. Cloud. Hey man, I wanted to start vlogging. Got a A6700 and the 17-70 Tamron, but no audio stuff. Do I need mics? Yeah, you'll need a mic. Well, yeah, I'd get a mic. Depending on how much you want to spend, there's a lot of really good options. My favorite of these, for any vlogging stuff that I do, is by Hollyland. This is the Lark M2S. So you can get the M2 or the M2S. But the only difference is the M2 is like a little button that you can like magnetize to your shirt, but it sits on the outside. This is the M2S, and actually this tiny little side here, that's the microphone. So the nice thing about it is you clip it on like that, and that's it, right? Like it takes up absolutely no space. There's no droopage. There's no nothing. So for vlogging, I think this would be fine. And it's got some noise cancellation and stuff that does a really good job. Sorry, there's a child crying outside. So it's not mine. Don't panic. And I'm not at my house. I'm at my church. That sounded weird. Okay, right. So I like these. These work really well for any vlog stuff that I'm doing. I think they're like $150 to $200. Outside of that, the Rode Video Micro, it's a classic little lens. If you want a little mini shotgun lens microphone to put on your camera, those are great. And they're dirt cheap. So I think they're like $70, $60, and really, really good. People are more likely to click off of your video if the audio is really bad than if your video is really bad. That's my experience. And there's a couple of videos that I've made where my audio was peaking or something, and trust me, they will tell you. For vlogging, this DJ would recommend wireless mics that attach to your shirt, and one for the camera, or are the wireless ones good enough? Sorry, for vlogging, would you recommend wireless mics that attach to your shirt and one for the camera, or the wireless mics good enough? Ooh. Sorry, that took me a second to figure out, because I'm dyslexic. Options are good, right? A shotgun mic on a camera is going to be higher quality for the most part. It's going to be a nicer sound. Like the Rode Video Mic NTG, which is expensive. It's like $150 to $200. Is so good. It's a great sounding microphone. But if you're far, you can't get far away from the camera. So I guess it depends what you're doing. If you're going to hold the camera the whole time and it's just going to be like right here, shotgun is perfect. That's all you need. If you're planning on putting it on a tripod and like walking around or being farther away at all, like even a little bit farther away, then I would go with the wireless mic. I think the vlogging just holding is kind of dead for the most part. I think people are liking a variety of shots. So you get the handheld one, and then you might get one where you set it up far away and you're walking past it or all that kind of stuff. It's more work, but if you're using a variety of shots and you're going to be far away from your camera, then I would use wireless, the little wireless mics. And if you know how to EQ, which DJ, guessing the fact that you're a DJ, I would assume that you do, and EQ, you can make those things sound fantastic. Tyler, I live in LA Film National Park, and I remember labs were everywhere in the double. No, they're far and few between. Oh, for developing film, is that what you mean? Yeah, it doesn't seem to be much of a thing anymore. Or it's also really expensive because film has gotten so expensive. But yeah, if you can develop black and white at home, I would definitely do that. Claude says, yeah, I had a look and the Boya Mic 2 seems good because I like the idea of 32-bit internal recording. Boya have contacted me a few times to try and send me stuff. I'm just tired of wireless mics. There's so many and they're all good. Like all of them are good. The only problem with some of the cheaper third-party ones, well, they're all third-party, but some of the cheaper options is just going to be your distance, right? And interference you might deal with a little bit more. But there's so many options these days, and like I could probably review one a month if I said yes to every one that was getting sent from Comica, Boya. Like there's Godox, DJI, Rode, Hollyland, all of them. Like there's so many companies doing these now. I think Hollyland have been my favorite so far, personally. They're also been the most fun to work with, Hollyland and DJI, but DJI haven't sent me any audio stuff yet, so maybe someday. I need to work on a gimbal video for them because I have not done that yet. I've been wrestling with it. All right. Audio is half the experience. Very important. Yeah, for sure. You say the Sennheiser MKE 400 is a good on-camera mic for vlogging. I've seen. Is that the kind of chunky one, like the sort of the thick one? I love Sennheiser. I have all of my videos for the most part are done on a Sennheiser MKH 416, which is a very expensive microphone. It's like $1,000, but it sounds so good. I use this whenever I'm doing more like discussion format because it gets in the way and I keep banging into it, but Sennheiser's audio sounds I think are just the nicest. Rode make really good sounding mics, but they're just too bassy. They're too bass heavy for me. So but that's for my voice. Different voices react differently. So for my voice I like the Sennheiser sound. You're welcome. Also, did you say the Sony shotgun microphone is really good, or was that a different one? I was talking about the Rode Video Mic NTG. I haven't used the Sony one. If you have a Sony camera and you can get the Sony one, the fact that it plugs into your camera with no cables is awesome. It just looks great. It's really cool. Tyler, great stream. Thanks for doing this. Glad I discovered your channel. Oh, I appreciate that. You're gonna have a great YouTube career. We'll see if I don't know if career is quite gonna happen, but maybe. Who knows? I'm just having fun over here. Just like I love talking about gear, and I will continue to talk about gear as long as the internet gives me a platform to talk about gear, especially for beginners, because we've all been there. I've been a beginner, and I've bought stuff that I shouldn't have bought, and that was what this whole stream was supposed to be about, and we got completely off topic. So, tell you what, I've got about 5 to 10 more minutes. So, for those of you that are left, to help me out with an upcoming video that I'm working on, tell me one piece of gear that you've bought that you wish you didn't buy. Or, maybe not that you wish you didn't buy, but a piece of gear that you've bought that you never use. That would be my question. Because I'm going to use these in a video, so I'll give you a shout out in the video as well. If I end up using your option there. So far I've mentioned sliders. I think slider is the main one for me, and haze machines. So that would be my take. And you know what? Should we do something? Does anybody? This is a spur of the moment thing. If so, smoke words while you guys send out into the chat your option, right? The thing for your list. If any of you would want this, the Smoke Ninja, they sent me 2. I'm guessing by accident, and that was like 2 years ago, and I've never used it. Not that it's bad, but I don't have any need for it. So as a fun little thing to my loyal stream people, if you're interested in this, send me a message on Instagram and I will just mail it to you. Free of charge, all yours. So send in your option here, your thing that you'd like me to include in the video of gear that people don't need to buy. And then I will shoot me a message on Instagram, which is just the same username as my YouTube channel. And if you want this, it's all yours, because I do not need it. I already have one, so I don't need the second one. And it's never even come out of the box, so it's all yours. All right, let's see what we have. We got a few people have already sent through some stuff. Clouds, I'll come back to your question here at the end. Basically, the answer is no, but I'll come back to it. Not never used, but my gimbal is rarely used. Yeah, gimbal should be on the list. I think especially for beginners. Yeah, people don't need them for the most part. I'm guessing that was about me getting tongue-tied. I'm not sure. For me, it was the Viltrox 33 f1.4. Yes, it's lower f-stop, but I couldn't be bothered to take off my Tamron 17 to 70 f2.8. Fair enough. Yeah. So yeah, I guess there's some lenses that we would put on there. The 17 to 70, it'll just do everything, right? The FX30 with the 17 to 70 is like, if I'm going to film something and I don't know exactly what I need, that's what I take, because it does everything well, for sure. Expensive prime anamorphic cinema lenses. Ooh, Cam Mackey's going to be upset if you say that expensive prime anamorphics are not worth it. Which can you tell me which primes you're talking about, Tyler? Because there's a lot of them out there. But yeah, I think honestly, depending on what it is that you're filming, anamorphics might be on that list. Will I upset Cam? I've only chatted with Cam like once at NAB, and I don't think he would even remember. But yeah, I think for a lot of people, anamorphic is not necessary, unless you're doing narrative stuff or you're trying to get some really cool, creative shots. But not everybody's doing that. Like if you're doing real estate, you probably don't need anamorphic. Probably. Maybe you do. I don't know. Go do it. You could be the best anamorphic real estate videographer on the planet. Anyway, hi. It's really Nikon lens. It's more sharp on Sony G. Wait. Hang on. Is really Nikon lens. It's more sharp on Sony G. Are you talking about putting Sony lenses on Nikons? And do they work? I don't know about sharpness, but they certainly work really well. Like I noticed no difference in performance between a native Nikon lens and a Sony adapted lens. Like no difference at all. Yes, gimbal, of course. Yeah. Gimbal is one of those ones that people tend to not use. Phone gimbals. Dang. Yeah. Yeah, I've never bought a phone gimbal. Again, I've never really used my phone. I also don't like phones. Maybe, this is probably the problem for me. I don't like phones. I don't like using my phone. My phone becomes a distraction in my life, and it takes over, and it's annoying. So, like, I don't like having a phone in my pocket. Like, I would rather, if Apple came out with a dumb phone that did nothing but like texts, emails, and calls, I would buy it. I think that's called an Apple Watch. I should probably just switch to an Apple Watch. But the thought of spending another $1,400 on a new phone, not for me personally. All right, I'm going to add those to the list. So we got gimbals seem to be high on the list, and anamorphic primes. Well, anamorphics in general, I guess. So, I mean, because if you're buying anamorphic zooms, that's even more expensive. So, yeah. Non-powered shotgun mics, usually not much of an improvement over built-in mics, and powered mics are way better. Non-powered shotgun mics. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know if I've used any. Do you mean like the little ones that go on top of cameras, like the Rode Video Micros? Because I would say that the teeny tiny little ones They're still better than built-in mics. I guess it depends on your camera, right? The ZV-E10 Mark II, they claim that they have really good mics, but I don't know. I've always found built-in mics not to be that great. Powered mics are way better. Interesting. Cool. I'm not that big into video, but I want to be. Could you suggest a starting project to work on? Oh, that's fun. If you have any friends who are musicians, do a music video. Those are just fun because it's kind of, you end up doing it run and gun, but you can also do a bit of planning. You can take your time with it. You can like put a bit of work in to sort of make it very creative, which is fun. So if you could do a music video, honestly, you can do a music video to anybody's music just to practice. That would probably be my take. But if you have friends who are actually musicians, I would give a music video a go. They're kind of fun, especially if you do some narrative work. Other than that, if you have another passion, let's say you're passionate about knitting or something. Let's say you want to talk about knitting, just make some YouTube videos about knitting, because you want your videos to look really good. So it teaches you a lot, teaches a lot about lighting, audio, all that kind of stuff. Those would be my two takes. I think music videos taught me the most about cameras. Would be what I'd say. Yeah, it's like the micros at the mercy of preamps at that point. That's true. Yeah, you're kind of stuck with the preamp that you have. So it depends on your camera. Like that's something that I'm always nervous about recommending this mic to people, the SM7B, because you need some pretty beefy preamps, or use a preamp or a cloud lifter or something. But those aren't the best things in the world. But thankfully, I've got a thing that can power it. But yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, good point. Good point. I'd still take it over a built-in mic personally. But that's just me. I've also never used the built-in mic, so I probably don't know what I'm talking about. But oh well. Alrighty, it is 7:50, so I'm probably going to get finished up here. So yes, thank you for those suggestions. I will definitely write those down. And I will try and give you guys shout outs. Let me take notes of who all said what. So if you want a shout out, I can give you guys one, especially if you have a channel. We can include that there. So gimbals, anamorphics, cheap mics. What else was there? Yeah, cool. Oh, Cloud, sorry, let me come back to this because yes, I said I would cover that. I have not used it. I contacted Sigma and they have not responded. So because I'm a small channel and they probably won't respond. But what I will say is the 18-35 f1.8 was my favorite lens for 6 years. It would be my go-to. My sister is a wedding videographer over in Ireland and is incredibly talented. And she almost exclusively uses the full frame one, the new one that they came out with. It's like a 28-40 f1.8. And she's obsessed with that lens. It's the only one that she uses for the most part. So at a guess, if it lives up to the old ones, it's probably going to be the best lens to get, in my opinion. I want to get one. I just want them to send me one so I don't have to buy it. Otherwise, I will buy it, which I shouldn't say. And if Sigma's watching, which they aren't, then whoops. Anyway, DJ, thanks for the stream. You're welcome. Thanks for joining me. Have a good rest of your evening and see you in the next one. Don't bother with the shout out. Okay, don't worry about that then. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you all being here. We've had 160 different people in here. Been here for almost 2 hours, 1 hour and a half. So I appreciate it. It was a bit of a slow start, but we're here. So thank you all, and I will see you guys next week. I have a video. Hopefully, it should be coming out in the next couple of days, as long as the sponsor approves it. Of this whole setup that you're seeing right now. So yeah. Oh, and don't forget to send me a message on Instagram if you want this, if you want the smoke machine. I don't know where I can send it. I can definitely send it to North America. I don't know where else, but I appreciate it. Thanks for the stream. You're welcome. All right. I will see you all later. Bye.